Today we are going to start College Bundle 9, Module 1 of SAT. So let's start. First question is, the length of two sides of a triangle are 4 centimeter and 6 centimeter. Okay. If the perimeter of the triangle is 18 centimeters, here is the catch. What is the length in centimeters of the third side of the triangle? So we know actually perimeter is the sum of all the sides, and because the triangle has 3 sides, so its perimeter will be like first side plus second side plus third side, and sum of all of them is 18 centimeter. Now first and second sides are given to us 4 plus 6, and we don't know the length of the third side, so let's say it's x and it's equal to 18. Now 4 plus 6 is 10 plus x is equal to 18. Subtracting 10 on both sides. Okay, subtracting 10 on both sides. So x equal to 8. So that means the measurement of the third side is 8. Okay, let's come to question number 2. 16x plus 30 is equal to 190t. Let's see what the options are. Okay, so here it's not about the value of x, it is about the value of 16x. So if our question is 16x plus 30 is equal to 190, so I need 16x. That means I don't need 30 on this side. So I'll just subtract 30 on both sides. This is cancelled. So 16 of x, 190 minus 30 is 160. We don't have to solve further. This is what the options are saying, that we have to find the value of 16x. So okay, yes, C is the right option. Let's come to question number 3. TY set a goal to walk at least 20 kilometers every day, point taken, to prepare for a multi-day hike. On a certain day, TY plans to walk at an average speed of 4 kilometers per hour. What is the minimum number of hours TY must walk on that day to fulfill the daily goal? Okay, now if I take like 4 is the speed per hour, and let's take s is the number of hours, or okay, yes, s is the number of hours. Let's use the formula speed is equal to distance upon time. So this is the formula we use in physics generally. Now we have to find the like distance or time, whatever, but if we multiply by time on both sides, it becomes speed times time is equal to distance, because it's about at least 24 kilometers every day. So if he walks 4 kilometers per day for s hours, that is actually the distance traveled if we see this formula, right? Now what should be the minimum distance? 24. So 24 is the minimum. Yes, you can do more than that, but 24 is the minimum. So 4s has to be greater than or equal to 24, because at least 24 means minimum 24. So 24 is again, yes, is equal to. Now divided by 4 on both sides. So s has to be greater than or equal to 6. And what is s? The number of hours. So here it is speed, here it is number of hours, and that has to be greater than or equal to 24. So that means s can be greater than or equal to 6. So B is the right option. Let's continue. Question number 4. The function g is defined by g of x is equal to x square plus 9, okay, for which value of x is gx is equal to 25. So what is given here? Gx. That means for the equation g of x is equal to x square plus 9, actually gx is 25. Here in this question we have to place the value right. That is the only check here. Now I need to calculate the value of x. Okay, let's do subtracting 9 on both sides. So x square is equal to 60. Now let's square root both sides is equal to, see, whenever we square root we always put plus minus sign. Why? Because if you square negative 4, right, it's going to be plus 16, or if you square positive 4 it's going to be 16 once again. So we don't know the answer is negative or positive, so we put both the signs. So x is equal to plus 4 or minus 4. Now if we go to the options, only plus 4 is there. That's okay, that is also one of the options, right? So A is the right option. If the question were negative 4, then A is the right option, but we have positive 4. So plus 4 and negative 4 both are correct. So we have to see the options what is asked here. Okay, let's come to question number 9. Which expression is equivalent to 9x squared plus 5x? Okay, leave this question here. Now suppose I have this question, x and x plus 5. Then what we do? We apply the distributive property and multiply x with all the terms, right? So x times x is x squared plus, and this is also plus, 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 x times 5 is 5x. This is what we do. But in this question, we have to do the opposite. Instead of multiplying, we have to take common what is present in both the terms. So this 9x squared is term 1 plus 5x, it's term 2. Now if we write all the factors, 9x squared is 3 times 3 times x, term 1 is factorized, plus 5 times x. Now we will see which term or variable or number is common in both the terms. So this is x, right? So sorry for that. We will take x common. Now what is left? 3 3s are 9 and x, 9x plus 5, right? So this is just the opposite of the distributive property. Now let's see. Yes, option A is the right option. Let's move to question number 6. Each value in the data set shown represents the height in centimeters of a plant. Okay, this. What is the mean height in centimeters of these plants? In case of mean, we do not need to arrange them in ascending orders, because mean, this is a symbol for mean, is actually equal to sum of all the observations, right? Observations are here are 6, 10, 13, 2 and so on. Sum of all the observations upon total number of observations. So let's see what the total number is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 are the total observations. And what is the sum? 6 plus 10 plus 13 plus 2 plus 15 plus 22 plus 10 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Okay, use the calculator. It's 90 by 10, so that is equal to 9. So our answer is 9. Just an extra note, I want to tell you one more extra point. When we write sum of all observations, right, it is sum of all observations. So observations are always written as xi, where I is like x1, x2, x3, x4. So this is x1, this is x2, this is x3, this is x4, x5 and so on. So sum of all observation here I meant was x1 plus x2 plus x3 and so on. Now there is a symbolic representation to this. Sum of all the observations. So when I write this symbol, this is the symbol for summation, that means I has to be replaced with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all of them. Now this I starts from 1 to, what is total number? 10. So that is the symbolic representation of it. Upon yes, number of observation is, you can write it as n, right? So just remember this also. This is just another symbolic representation. Okay. Question number 7. A student council group is selling school posters for a fundraiser. They use the function px is equal to 5x minus 220. Okay. So p of x is equal to 5x minus 220. This is our equation to determine their profit px. So that means this one is profit is equal to x for selling x school posters. So x is actually the number of posters. If an equation is given to us, we try to figure out what each variable and whatever the unknown they actually mean in that equation. So px is profit and x is the number of posters. Let's go back to the question now. In order to earn a profit of 900, now because we have already marked what is representing what, so now we know actually p of x is 900. So we have to just replace it with 900. 5, and it is the number of posters. X is the number of posters here. Minus 220. Okay, what is needed? How many school posters must they sell? So that means X is asked. Okay, let's solve it. First, we will add 220 on both sides is equal to plus 220. This is cancelled. Now I am doing it here. So 900 plus 220 is 1120. Dividing by 5 on both sides. So x is equal to 224. So that means if they need to earn a profit of $900, they have to sell 224 posters. So it's so real life situation. Great. Next, let's come on question number 8. J walks at a speed of 3 miles per hour. Okay, so 3 is walking speed. So walking is actually 3 miles per hour and he walks for W hours. So, okay, that is 3W. See, if I do like distance is equal to speed into time, we can use this formula, right? So, walking distance is speed is 3 miles per hour and he walks for W hours. So, distance is equal to speed times time, okay. And runs at a speed of 5 miles per hour. So total running is equal to 5 miles per hour and for how many hours? R hours. Again I am using the same formula. Perfect. For a combined total of 14 miles. Now if we go to the vocabulary of maths, combine means we have to add. So walking distance plus running distance is actually equal to 14 miles. So you have to understand this thing in this question, that walking distance can be represented as speed into time. We have to see the question. So here walking distance is 3 miles per hour and W hours. So you have to just learn this concept. So this is our equation. Let's go to the option. Okay, A is the right option. Perfect. Let's come to question number 9. John paid a total of 165 for a microscope by making a down payment of 37. Okay. Plus P monthly payments of $16 each. Okay, now let's just break down the situation. Suppose I go to a shop and say, okay, I need to buy this microscope, but I don't have the money. Then the shopkeeper says, okay, how much do you have? So I say, right now I have only $37. He says, okay, give me $37. Here in math, it is known as down payment of $37. Plus, he will do the rest of the payments in P months, and every month he is going to pay $16. So $16 for 1 month, that will be 16. $16 for 2 months, that will be 32. So here 16 is the rate of change. Every next time $16 will be paid for P month. So if we use the equation y is equal to mx plus p, here p is the initial value. That means the down payment. That means initially whatever has been done. So here it is what we have done initially, the down payment. So it's 37. Y is the cost, total cost of the microscope, and m rate of change. That means every next month $16 will be paid. And for how many months? P months. So it's a simple linear equation question. We have to understand what every variable means. What do you mean by y? What is m? What is x and what b? And we have to just place the values. Okay, let's see the values. Yes, C is the right option. So for question number 9, C is the option. Let's do question 10. The given equation relates the positive numbers p, x and y. Which equation correctly expresses y in terms of p and x? That means we have to do y is equal to whatever. That means when it says y in terms, that means you have to put y is equal to this. So our given equation is y minus 57 is equal to px. And because we need y is equal to, that means this 57 has to be moved to other side, or in other words you can say add 57 on both sides. So y is equal to px plus 57. Maybe you don't like this method of addition or subtraction. You simply say, okay, transporting 57 to other sides. Right? So this also is the right way, or the different way to explain is, so when we transport or translocate some number from opposite side of the equality, we change its side. So y is equal to px plus 57. Okay, yes, B is the right option. I hope that is clear. Question number 11. A company opens an account with an initial balance of $36,100. The account earns interest, okay, and no additional deposits or withdrawals are made. The account balance is given by the exponential function, okay, where AT is the account balance in dollars. T years after the account is opened, the account balance after 13 years is this much. Which equation could define A? See, before solving this question, I just need to explain the concept of exponential function in a little bit more detail. So let's move to that part. I'll create two situations, right, where the growth is happening, as in this case, money is growing. And the second case, where decay is happening. So let's see the growth first. Suppose you have $1,000 in your bank account, and bank agrees to give you 10% mind every word, 10% on accumulated amount. That means it is not fixed. Every month every month, okay, 10% per month is very high, but that's okay. Just not relate to the situation, right? Like it's not possible. Let's try to understand the concept behind it. So 10%, okay, let's say here on accumulated amount. So this is the initial amount. It's the beginning amount. Now after 1 year, 10% will be added to it. So what is 10% of 1000? 10% of 1000 is 100. So the bank will give you $100 as interest, and after 1 year you will have 1100. Now this 100 is not fixed, right? If it is fixed that every month you are going to get $100, then it is a linear situation. But here 10% will be on the accumulated amount. So it's for the first year, right? For the first year, it's the initial amount. Now in the second year, 10% will be of 1100. Perfect, which is 110. So we will add 110 into it, or the bank will give you this interest, and now you will have this much of amount. See, the interest has increased because gradually the amount is increasing, and so is the interest. Now this is exponential growth. If I create a formula for this, till now, you know formula is y is equal to apx. But let's break it a little bit so that we can understand the value of b better. Actually, its amount after some time, right? After t years is initial amount times 1 plus rate percent, and it's for how many years. That is the actual equation. Now here initial amount is 1000 and it's 1 plus 10%. This is t is time, so it's amount after t years. So we will just keep on putting the value of t and calculate how much the amount will be in our account. Now the next point is, here I am adding something to 1. It may be a very small value, but because I am adding it, it will be greater than 1. That is the most important point here. So it's 1000 and 1.1 raised to power time. That is the situation. So we can analyze it a little bit more, that 1000 is the initial amount. 1.1, that means amount is increasing. Now let's see another situation. Suppose you have a radioactive material and it decays 10% every year. I'm taking same percentage, 10. So let's say initially it's 100 milligram, let's say, right? It's initial, in the beginning when we have started the experiment. Now in the first year that will be 10% of 1000, right? Which is 100. So after 1 year it will be 900 milligrams. After first year it will be 900 milligrams. Now for the second year, right, it will be 10% of 900, which is 90. So it will decrease 90 milligram, and so it's 810 milligram, right? So see, every year the amount is changing. That type of growth is, or decay is, exponential decay. And for this, formula is radioactive, after radioactive element remained after t years is initially how much it was, right? Initially how much it was, and it's 1 minus rate percent after t years. Now if I say it's 10%, 1 minus 10% is 0.1 raised to the power t. I am subtracting something from 1, whatever small the number is, but definitely it will be less than 1. So here it is initial amount, right? And this number is less than 1. Now that is the most important point here. If it is a decay or a decrease, this number will be less than 1. Or if it is increase, this number will be greater than 1. Otherwise, both the equations RT or AT, in the first case it's AT, in the second case it's RT, it's y is equal to A, B, X, where A is the initial amount, Y is the final thing, whatever is that, B is the rate of change after this much time. Now, if this B is greater than 1, that means growth is happening because we are adding something to 1. And if this B is less than 1, that means decay is happening. Now, this concept will make us understand the question better. Let's go back to the question. A company opens an account with an initial balance of $36,100. So if I say y is equal to ABX, so 36,100 is the initial amount. The account earns interest and no additional deposits. That means there is no extra money. You have to calculate only this much. After T years, the amount is this much. See, amount is increasing. So here, this value has to be greater than 1. Here it is time, and that is amount of T, which is given here. But if I see the options, this part is not used in my answers list. That's okay. That's totally fine. Question is demanding that you know where to place the initial value and how will you figure out that the number B will be less than 1 or greater than 1. So initial amount is 36,100. This is the option. It's not the initial amount, cancel it. It's not the initial amount, cancel it. Now if I see A and D, this decimal 05 is less than 1. That means here decrease is happening. Decrease in the money is happening, but our money is increasing because we are taking the interest. So that means A is the right option. I hope if you will go through the whole concept one more time, exponential functions will make much more sense to you. Question number 12. A circle is given to us, okay, and it has some arcs. One is SR and then RQ, another arc. One is PQ and then it is SP. It has 4 arcs, okay. The circle shown has center O, circumference 144 pi, and diameters PR and QX. Okay, so PR and SQ, these are diameters. The length of arc PS is twice the length of arc PQ. Okay, here is the clue. So the whole circumference, that means 2 pi r, is equal to 144 pi, right? The question is that I can find radius from here, but is it necessary? Is it required to solve the question we need? So I think not. It's about the lengths of the arc. So here it says if SR is X, then because these are diameters, PQ is also X and RQ is double to that of PQ. That means if PQ is X, RQ is 2X and so is SP. So instead of finding the radius, right, okay, SP is 2X, instead of finding the radius, we have to find whatever is required according to the data given, and here it's about the length of arcs. So instead of 2 pi r is equal to 144 pi, I will write it as X plus x plus 2x plus 2x, because this is what the circumference is, that if you take a thread, right, and cover its boundary, how much length is required? So that is x plus 2x plus x plus 2x, which is actually 144 pi, right? So all these are like terms. X plus x, 2x plus 2, 4x plus 6x. 6x is equal to 144 pi. Now let's calculate x. Divide by 6 on both sides. Let's come on this side. So x is equal to 24 pi. That means the length of the arc SR and PQ is 24 pi, and length of arc Q and SP is 2 times 24 pi, because that is 2x. Now let's see what the question is. What is the length of the arc QR? That is needed, which is QR, okay, that is 2x, right? So x we have. So QR is actually 2 times x is equal to 2 times 24 pi, which is 48 pi. That means B is the right option, right? Question number 13 is y is equal to negative 2x, and okay, and 3x plus y is equal to 40. Two equations are given to us. The solution to the given system of equations is xy. That means if we solve both these equations, there is a solution set xy which will satisfy both the equations, right? First one as well as the second one. So from that pair, from that coordinate pair, we have to find the value of x. Now because we are taking these two equations simultaneously, that means y is equal to negative 2x. I can just plug in here at place of y. Okay, so our second equation is 3x plus y is equal to 40. 3x at place of y, I'll plug in negative 2x is equal to 40. 3x minus 2x is x, so x is equal to 40. Now I have to find only x, right? So that means my question is over, that yes, x is equal to 40. So, but let's learn how to calculate y then. I can take any of the equations. So y is equal to negative 2x is equal to negative 2 times 40, which we have calculated here, and that is equal to negative 80. But what is asked? Value of x. So x is equal to 40 is our answer. I hope that is clear. Okay. Next, let's come to question number 14. Some data values are given to us, and for how many times these are repeated, that is the frequency. For example, for data value 3, right, 6 is repeated 3 times, 7 is repeated 3 times, 8 is repeated 8 times, 9 is repeated 9 times, 10 is repeated 9 times, 11 is 11 times, 12 is 9 times, 13 is not at all the part of the data values, 14 is repeated 6 times. That means if I write this value, it's like 6, 6, 6, 6 times, then 7 3 times, then 8 8 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like this. Similarly, we can continue and write all the values. Okay, this is what is the meaning of frequency. So data value and frequency. Okay. The frequency table summarizes the 57 data values. That means if you add them, there are total 57 data values. If we write all the data values like this with the help of commas, repeating these many times, there are total 57 data values, okay, in a data set. what is the maximum data value in the data set? Now we have to find the maximum data value. What is data value? This one. What is the maximum number here? 14. So 14 is the maximum data value in the data set. Okay, we have solved the question. Let's do one part extra. What if the question had asked which data value occurs maximum time? I'm just creating other question out of it. Which data value occurs maximum time? So 11 is occurring 11 times, which is maximum here. Then I should say 11 data value has highest frequency. But that is not asked here, right? What is asked? What is the maximum data value? So that is 14. I hope the difference between the two questions is also clear. Question number 15. One leg of a right triangle has a length of 43.2 millimeters. The hypotenuse of the triangle has a length of 196.8 millimeters. What is the length of other leg of the triangle in millimeters? Okay, let's draw the right triangle first and understand that legs are actually the sides which are other than hypotenuse, right? So here if this angle is of 90 degree, then side opposite to that is hypotenuse. Always, always. And the other two sides are known as the legs. So here AB and BC are the legs. Now length of one of the legs is given. Let's say it's 43.2. And it can also be BC, right? You can also take BC, no problem in that. And hypotenuse is 196.8. And because this one is missing, let's say it's X. Okay, now it's a right triangle and we are talking about three sides. So the rule used here can be of or is of Pythagoras. And Pythagoras says a square plus b square is equal to c square. But instead of this, writing this, I love to write it as first leg whole squared plus second leg whole squared is equal to hypotenuse square, because this way you will never forget, right? What is A, what is B, and what is C. Here A and B are legs and C is the hypotenuse. Now let's put the values, right? If you write it this way, you will never forget like is equal to square is always the is of that of hypotenuse. So 43.2 whole squared plus x squared is equal to 196.8 whole squared. Okay, because we need to find x, so let's subtract 43.2 whole square on both sides. So this way this will be cancelled and x squared is equal to 196.8 whole squared minus 43 point whole squared. Okay, now let's use calculators. So 196.8 whole squared is 38,730 decimal 24 minus 43.2 whole squared is 1,866.24, which in turn is equal to 36,864. But this is x squared, right? And what we need? X. So for this, we have to square root both sides, right? Square root of this and square root of this. So x is equal to, now why x square? When we do square root of x square, it's x. It's the rule for exponent. Square root always has the power 1 by 2. So 2 and 2 cancelled. So we are left with x is equal to plus minus 192. Now, whenever we do square root, we always put plus minus sign. That's a rule. But here, because we are talking about the length of the side, which cannot be negative, so we totally ignore this part and x is equal to 192. Okay, so C is the right option. Question number 16. A wire with a length of 106 inches. Okay, let's this be the wire and the total length given is 106 inches is cut into two parts. Okay, one part has a length of x inches and the other part has length of y inches. Okay, so we have decoded the first sentence. This is the meaning of this. The value of x is 6 more than 4 times the value of y. Now see, math has its own vocabulary. Most of the times when you have a sentence and you have to convert it into maths equation or expression, is you will find out is usually refers to equal to sign. Whenever you read the word more than, that means something is being added, or if you read less than, it is something which is less than, that means it's subtracted, or if it is times, that means multiplication. If this something is divided, right, in any manner, then it is division. So let's see how this works in our second, to decode our second sentence. X is 6 more than 4 times the value of y. So simple, right? So from now onwards, if you see any of these words and you have to convert it into mathematical equation, just use these symbols like this. Okay, what is the value of x? Now we have two equations. The whole length of the wire is 106 inches. That means x plus y is equal to 106 is first equation, and this is the second equation, and we have to find the value of x. Now what if I take this equation and replace x with this? So that is 6 plus 4y plus y is equal to 106. 6 plus 4y plus y is 5y is equal to 106, and subtracting 6 on both sides, 5y is equal to 100, dividing by 5 on both sides, so y is equal to 20. Now we don't need y, we need x. So we can use any of the equations, either this one or this one, to calculate the value of x. Let's use this one. X is equal to 6 plus 4 times y, or plug in 20 at place of y, is equal to, multiplication is to be done first. So 6 plus 80 is equal to 86. So D is the right option. Now if you choose this equation, right, let me just plug in 20 over here. You have to do only one of these. I am showing you both the ways. That is equal to 106. Subtracting 20 on both sides. So x, this is cancelled, and 106 minus 20 is 86. So you can use any of the equations. I hope that is clear. Now let's move to question number 17. F of x is equal to x plus 6, x plus 5, x minus 4. Okay, three factors are given. The function f is given. Which table of values represent y is equal to fx minus 3? Okay, let's see the tables. Okay, in A option, x inputs are negative 6, negative 5 and 4. In B option 2, negative 6, negative 5, 4. In C options 2, negative 6, negative 5. That means all the options have negative 6, negative 5 and 4. Now, as we know, there are multiple ways of doing the questions. So one way is like, I'll plug in the values, right? Okay, let's start from here. F of x is equal to x plus 6 times x plus 5 times x minus 4, and first of the inputs is negative 6. So it's negative 6 plus 6, negative 6 plus 5, and negative 6, negative 4. Now this is 0. So whatever the other numbers are, it does not matter. Any numbers, multiplied number or numbers multiplied by 0 is always 0. So minus 6 or negative 6 is with 0. So this is x and this is y or fx. If I take the other one, negative 5, it is equal to negative 5 plus 6, negative 5 plus 5, negative 5, negative 4. Now here it is 0. So whatever the numbers are, right, my answer is going to be 0. So negative 5 and 0. And f of 4, again if you plug in, 4 plus 6, 4 plus 5 and 4 minus 4. So this is 0. So that means f of 4 is always 0, also 0. This is one way of thinking it. I'm just giving the inputs according to the question. So all of them are 0. But there is another way, right? What if I put fx as 0 is equal to x plus 6, x plus 5 and x minus 4. Okay, let's not confuse us. These are our inputs. I'll take second method after completing the first one. So we don't have to calculate fx. We have to calculate fx minus 3. So if x is negative 6, negative 5 and 4, f of x minus 3 is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3, which is negative 3 itself. So it's negative 6, negative 3, negative 5, negative 3, 4 and negative 3. So let's see the options. Yes, B is the right option. Now I'll do this question by second method, which is completely different, right? So first, if I observe the question, right, negative 6, negative 5 and 4 will be the zeros of the polynomial. How? Okay, let's call it as a second method. So 0 is equal to x plus 6. If we just, before starting the question, if we stop for a while and observe it, so x plus 6 is equal to 0. That means x is equal to negative 6. X plus 5 is equal to 0. The first factor, the second factor. X is equal to negative 5. And x minus 4 is equal to 0. That means x is equal to 4. So the inputs given here are actually the zeros of the polynomial, right? And when we say zeros of the polynomial, that means value of the function is 0. So here again, we are ending up at the same situation. So, this is your style of thinking, which way you are comfortable with. Are you comfortable in giving the inputs? Do it that way. But if you are you can observe that these are the zeros of the polynomial, so you can do it this way. Both are correct. Okay. Again, because here we have, okay, x and fx. We have to do minus 3. Here it is x and fx, right? So now I'll convert it into fx minus 3 because this is what our question is. So 0 minus 3, negative 5, 0 minus 3, 4, 0 minus 3. So the coordinates are negative 6, negative 3, negative 5, negative 3, 4 and negative 3. So that means B is the right option. I hope both the methods are clear because every child has a different way of thinking. So we must know how a question can be taken in different ways, right? Okay. Question number 18. A landscaper uses a hose that puts 88 ounces of water in a bucket in 5 minutes. Okay. So this one is some volume and this one is time. Okay. which expression represents the number of ounces of water the hose puts in the bucket in 9 minutes at that rate. So we are talking about two situations where volume and time are considered. So that means we can solve it by the ratio method. If I take volume as the numerator and time as the denominator, this is what I am taking here. Now let's start the question. 88x ounces of water in 5y minutes. Which expression represents the number of ounces of water? Okay, that is not given to us. The hose puts in bucket in 9y minutes. That means you have to calculate this by the ratio method. Okay, so this one is missing, right? Now by multiplying 9y on both sides, 9y times 9y. So this unknown will be calculated. So y and y cancelled, and 88 times 9 is 792 x over 5. Let's see the options. Yes, it's D. So D is the right option. Okay. Let's come to question number 19. Two equations are given to us. Question is, in the given system of equations, H is a constant. Okay. If the system has no solution, what is the value of H? Let's leave this question here and learn the rule of this question first. Suppose I have two equations, a1x plus b1y is equal to some c1, and a2x plus b2y is equal to some c2. See, I have taken constants on the other side of the equation, but this is also true if you write the two equations like this. But you know, the condition is that if they are like in equal to 0 form, then both of them should be in the equal to 0 form. But if they are in the form of equal to constant like this, so both should be in this form. Then if the system of equation has no solution, then a1 over a2, that means this coefficient over this coefficient, is equal to b1 over b2, but it is not equal to c1 over c2. This is our condition, right? So let's rub this one and go back to our equations. Now these equations are not in standard form, right? We have to write the equations in standard form like this. But our equations are not in standard form. So let's write first equation, 4x minus 9y is equal to 9y plus 5. Y has to be on the left hand side. So subtracting 9y on both sides, it's 4x minus 18y is equal to 5. Okay, first equation written. Now let's see the second one. Hy is equal to 2 plus 4x. Let's just change them as a whole like this. Okay. Subtracting hy on both sides because I need hy on the left hand side, and I need, let's do it first. 4x minus hy plus 2 is equal to 0 because this is cancelled. Now in our first equation, constant is on the right hand side, so it should also be on the right hand side. For that we have to subtract 2. So 4x minus hy is equal to negative 2. 4x minus hy is equal to negative 2. Now we have to apply this condition. a1 over a2 is equal to b1 over b2 is not equal to 5 over negative 2. Now we have to find the value of h, right, which is equal to h. So we will take this expression. Let's solve it. 4 is cancelled with 4. Negative is cancelled with negative. So 1 is equal to 18 upon h, multiplying by h on both sides. So h is equal to 18. That means D is the right option. Now let's come to 20th. Okay, that's fine. So 13 is p% of 25. If you go back to question number 16, I discussed some vocabulary which is really helpful in converting an English statement into maths expression or equation. From here I am discussing it for this particular question. So I'll request you to just go back to question number 16 after this and check that. Is usually refers to equal to sign, and of is multiplication, right? Times or of. Mostly both of them represent to multiplication. So let's apply it here. 13 is p% of 25, right? So learning this vocabulary is really very useful. Let's write it here. 13 is p% of 25. So 25 fours 100. That means 13 is equal to p by 4, multiplying by 4 on both sides. So p is equal to 52. So what is the value of p? P is equal to 52. Okay, perfect. I hope all the 3 questions are clear to you. Question 21st. Square root of x minus 2 whole squared is equal to square root of 3x plus 34. What is the smallest solution to the given equation? Okay, that means we have to find the solutions. And whenever it says solution, that means we have to find the value of the variable, which is x here. And then check which is the smallest one. Okay, because I have less space, so I'm starting from here. First of all, if we have x squared and then square root, that is equal to x. Why? Because square root is actually written as power as 1 by 2. So that is equal to x 2 by 2, which is equal to x. So one rule we are going to use this, right? So here in our question, if it is square root of x minus 2 whole squared, that is equal to x minus 2, right? Which is equal to square root of 3x plus 34 is equal to 3x plus 34. Now we need to calculate x, but we have a square root here, right? So if this square root is not here, we will be able to solve it easily. So why not square both sides, right? X minus 2 whole squared, x minus 2 whole squared is equal to square root of 3x plus 34. I write square as a whole, or I write square over here, which is the same thing. So the rule I explained before, this will become 3x plus 34, and this is equal to x minus 2 whole squared. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Now here I have a square, right? So we can use the identity. This identity is x minus y whole squared is equal to x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. So at place of x we have 2. So I'm just coming here. X minus 2 whole squared is equal to 3x plus 34. And let's replace every y with 2 to solve this. That is x squared minus 2 times x plus 2 squared is equal to 3x plus 34. So that is x squared minus 4x plus 4 is equal to 3x plus 34. Now we have to solve this equation. So it has to be in equal to 0 form. So for that, let's subtract 3x on both sides as well as 34. Negative 3x minus 34. So it's cancelled from this side. So right hand side is 0. And now it's x squared minus 7x minus 30 is equal to 0. Let's apply. Should I tell AC method? Okay, we can have a quick revision. So we made an x, and whatever is the coefficient of x, we write it here, and whatever is the constant, we write that here. Now we have to find two numbers so that if we add or subtract them, we get negative 7, or if we multiply them, we get negative 30. So there can be many combinations like 10 times 3 or 6 times 5 or 30 times 1 or 2 times 15. But here if we see, if we do negative 10 and positive 3, negative 10 and positive 3, we have to select one which is suitable for both. So negative 10 plus 3 is negative 7, right? And negative 10 times 3 is negative 30. So the two numbers are negative 10 and 3. Therefore, this equation, quadratic equation, can be written in the factor form like this, right? And that is equal to 0. Okay, that is equal to 0. Now by the 0 property, if any of the factors is 0, this will be 0. So adding 10 on both sides, and for this it's x is equal to 10, and for this equation, this symbol is for OR in mathematics. Now I'm solving the second one. Subtracting 3 on both sides, this is cancelled. X is equal to negative 3. So x is equal to 10 and x is equal to negative 3. These are the two solutions of this question, but the question is demanding the smallest solution. So out of 10 and negative 3, smallest number is x is equal to negative 3. So that is our answer. Okay, let's come to next question, which is 22. F of x is equal to x plus 6, x plus 5, x plus 1. Okay, let's write it. F of x is equal to x plus 6, x plus 5 and x plus 1. Function g is defined by g of x is equal to f of x minus 1. Okay, let's see this one first. So if I replace every x with x minus 1, this is what is required here. This will become gx, right? So okay, let's replace x with x minus 1. This x is x minus 1 plus 6 as it is. This x is x minus 1 plus 5 as it is. And this x is x minus 1 and plus 1 as it is. That is the only, important step here. Okay, let's see the rest of the question. So that means g of x is equal to x plus 5, x plus 4 and x, this is cancelled, minus 1 plus 6, or negative 1 plus 6 is plus 5, and so on. Okay, the graph of y is equal to gx in the xy plane as x intercepts as a0, b0, c0. Whenever question says x-intercept, that means you have to put function y or gx at 0. So that is equal to x plus 5, x plus 4 and x. Now 0 property says that if the product of 0, then either of them is 0. So that means either x plus 5 is equal to 0 or x plus 4 is equal to 0 or x itself is equal to 0. So subtracting 5 on both sides, x is equal to negative 5, subtracting 4 on both sides, x is equal to -4 and x is equal to 0. Okay. Now because these are x-intercepts, I can write them as coordinates. When x-intercept is -5, right, coordinates are -5 and 0. When x-intercept is -4, coordinates are -4 and 0. And when x-intercept is 0, 0 and 0 are the coordinates. These are the 3 points which are on the x-axis. Okay. So if I see the question, x-intercepts are a0, b0 and c0. That means this is a is -5, b is -4 and c is equal to 0, right? Now what we want, a plus b, or what the question needs, it's a plus b plus c. That means -5 minus 4 plus 0, not 10, I'm sorry, is equal to -9. So that means B is the right option. See, you can see, concepts are the same, but they are asked just in a little bit twisted manner. So if you are good with the concepts, you can just apply them step by step. For example, in this question, first, that is the first concept. Then this is the second concept, that for x-intercepts, y is to be put as the 0. And this is the third concept, that how to write them so that you can compare them here with the question. Okay. These two questions were really good. Okay. Question number 24. F of x is equal to 4x squared plus 64x plus 262. Okay. The function g is defined by g of x is equal to f of x plus 5. Okay, that means this function is transformed. Okay, for what value of x does gx reach its minimum? Minimum. First, let's see this word minimum. What does this mean? Here, in the standard form, ax square plus bx plus c, if a is greater than 0, then it's an upward parabola, right? And if it is an upward parabola, it comes to a point where its value is minimum. It keeps on decreasing like this, right? It comes to its minimum level here, and then it starts increasing. So we have to consider this point. Now we have to find which value of x does gx reaches its minimum. So definitely if this is the vertex, it has some coordinates x and y. This is the minimum value and this is the value of x where the y or the function reaches its minimum. So we have to find this x. That means we have to find the x coordinate of the vertex. This is what the question is. Now equation given can be in two forms. One is standard form and another one is vertex form, right? Vertex form is like a x minus h whole squared plus k, and standard form is this, which is given to us, ax square plus bx plus c. So in this standard form, we have a direct formula to find the vertex. Let the vertex be hk. Let vertex be hk, because xy is literally every single point on the parabola. So h is minus b by 2a, right? So if I see this equation, here a is 4, b is 64 and c is 262. So we have to find out minus b by 2a. So negative b by 2a, now it's negative 64 by 2 times a is 4 is equal to negative 64 by 8, which in turn is negative 8. Perfect. Now that is the x coordinate of the vertex of this parabola, right? So this is the coordinate of f of x. Now, if we see the transformation, vertical and horizontal rigid transformations are of two types. Let's take a quick revision of that. If y is equal to f of x, that is the parent function, which is here, which here is 4x squared plus 64x plus 262. Now, if you add some number to the function or subtract some number from the function, these two are vertical translations, right? If for this it will go up, okay, let's rub this. For this it will go up 5 points, and for this it will go down 5 points. But if you add x to the input, right, then it will move left 5 points, and if you subtract 5 from the function, input value, it will move right 5 points. Now, why this happens, is like again a constant, but if you want to learn it, you can learn it this way. The vertex will also be moved like this. So if f of x is a function and h coordinate of the vertex is -8, then for f of x plus 5, we see this point, it will move 5 points to left. So if it is -8, -9, -10, -11, so if you keep on counting till 5 points, it's -13. So the vertex of the transformed function x coordinate is -13, right? So A is the right option. We are on question 25, total are 27. Okay, let's do it. 1 gallon of stain will cover 170 square feet of a surface. Okay, let's write this information. So 1 gallon covers 170 square feet. A yard has a total fence area of W square feet, okay, which equation represents the total amount of stain S in gallons needed to stain the fence in this yard twice, okay. So if 1 gallon can cover 170 square feet, that means S gallons will cover S times 170 square feet. So that means this will be the total area covered, right? If 1 gallon is covering this much, there are S gallons. So S gallons are covering this much of area. So that is the total area. Now, according to question, the total fence area is W square feet. So that means S times 170 is actually W. But it needed to stain the fence in his yard twice. So that means 2 times of this area has to be covered, right? What we need? Equation in terms of S. So what should we do? Divide by 170 on both sides. 2W by 170 or W by 85. Okay, so D is the right option. Okay, let's move to next question. Question number 26. Poll results: Angel Cruz 483 votes, Terry Smith 320 votes. The table shows the results of a poll. Okay, a total of 103 voters. Yes, the total is 103. Selected at random were asked which candidate they would vote for in the upcoming election. That means pre-poll work is going on. According to the poll, if 6424 people vote in the election, by how many votes would Angel Cruz be expected to win? Now, this is a question of ratios, but let's see if total candidates are 103, right, which are selected. Then Cruz is getting 483 and Smith is getting 320. That means Cruz is winning by 383 minus 320, which is 163. So if I apply the ratio concept here, that is win over total ratio, right? I am going to take this ratio. Now, if he wins by 163 and total is 803, then what will be this number if total is 6424? By how many weights Angel Cruz be expected to win? We have to calculate this. So multiply by 6424 on both sides over 803. That is the difference. Let's say it's x. And if you calculate it with calculator, okay, that is 1304. That means B is the right option. Okay, so question number 27, the last question of our module 9, bundle 9, module 1. Okay. Right rectangular prism X is similar to right rectangular prism Y. Perfect. Now first let's understand the meaning of similar, right? So when the figures are similar, they are dilated, right? If prism, suppose second figure is bigger than first one, it is dilated. So let's say, okay, they are not up to scale, but just let's consider them as the equilateral triangles. So it's A, B, C. Suppose sides are 3. Every side is 3. And this is second triangle DEF. It's every side, because it is dilated or bigger than ABC, every side will be multiplied by some constant, like 3 4s are 12. So every size is 12. Again, I'm saying it's not up to scale. So if you take first triangle whose sides is 3, it's dilated and every side is multiplied by 4, that is 12, right? So in my question it is given, but if it is not given, we assume that there is some constant which gives us the measurement for the second triangle. Here it is 4. Okay. The surface area of the right rectangular prism is 58 centimeters squares, and the surface area of the right triangular prism is y is 1450 centimeters square. The volume of the right rectangular prism y is 1250 centimeter cube. What is the sum of the volumes in centimeter cubes of right rectangular prism X and right rectangular prism Y? Okay, it's a long question. Let's break it side by side. Now, prism X is similar to prism Y. So suppose if we have two prisms, right? Let's its length be L, width be W, and height be H. So this bigger prism will have some length K, L times K, width times K, and height times K. Okay, these are the measurements. Now, surface area of the first one is 58 centimeters square. It is 58 centimeters square, and the surface area of the second, that means Y prism, is 1450. Let this be X, Y, 1450, right? Now, because side is WK, HK, and this in, so suppose you have 58K squared is equal to 1450, right? Because this one is bigger, So I'm just taking the constant with it, right? But if you have to equate, you have to multiply k square here. That's a catch here. Definitely, this k is multiplied with these sides of the second prism y, but if you need to put equal to sign here, right, you have to multiply 58 k square with 58 because we have to equate it. I hope that point is clear. So 58 k squared is equal to 1450 and k square is equal to dividing by 58 on both sides, and this is 25. K square is equal to 25, and because k is positive, so we will consider only plus 5, not negative 5. Perfect. So this information taken. Now let's go to the second one. The volume of right rectangular prism Y is 1250 cubic centimeter. Okay, let's change the color. So volume of this one is equal to 1250, and in our question volume of X is not given. It is the volume of Y. Let's go back to the question. The volume of the rectangular prism Y is this much. What is the sum of the volumes? So this volume is not given to us, right? So we have to find. Let's volume of X times K cube is equal to volume of Y, right? This is what we have done in surface area part. So volume of X, which we don't know, K cubed is equal to 1250. So volume of X is equal to 1250 dividing by K cube on both sides. And because we have calculated the value of K as 5, so volume of X is equal to 1250 over 5 cubed, which is 1250 divided by 125, which in turn is equal to 10, right? Now, volume of X we have calculated and volume of Y is given, and this is what the question is. So that is 10 plus 1250 is equal to 1260. Okay, so that is a question where you have to write the answer. Okay, so the sum of the volumes is 1260. I hope every concept is clear. If not, just give me a comment. I'll clear the doubt.